President Kennedy, his wife, the governor, and his wife were on a 10-mile motorcade through the streets of downtown Dallas. They waved to the enthusiastic crowds gathered around them. The motorcade turned on Elm Street and passed the Texas Schoolbook Depository. Continuing down Elm Street at 12:30 p.m., 3 shots were fired, one severely injuring the governor and another killing President Kennedy with a fatal shot penetrating his upper back and neck. It was said there was a 4th shot that entered the back of President Kennedy's head and exiting the front. Mrs. Kennedy began to climb out of the back of the limousine after President Kennedy was shot, but later she did not remember doing this. President Kennedy was announced dead in the emergency room 30 minutes after the incident. It was also said that he had absolutely no possible chance of living after the wound. 70 minutes after the assassination of the president, Lee Harvey Oswald, reported missing by Rod Truly, was arrested by the Dallas police for killing a police officer. Later, Oswald was put into interrogation and questioned all afternoon. On November 22, 1963, something happened that would shock America. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated on camera while riding a presidential vehicle with his wife, the governor of Texas, and his wife. This was the 4th assassination of a U.S. president in history. A test was also done to determine whether or not Oswald had even fired a weapon recently, and it turned out he had. After investigation, interrogation, and testing, Oswald was charged with killing the police officer and President John F. Kennedy. Bullet fragments were found in the back seat of the limousine and were matched with Oswald's rifle. After the autopsy, Kennedy's body was brought back to Washington, D.C., and put in the East Room of the White House for 24 hours. The Sunday after the assassination, Kennedy's coffin was carried on a horse-drawn caisson to the U.S. Capitol to lie in state. Hundreds of thousands of people lined up to see the guarded casket of President John F. Kennedy. On Monday, November 25th, the funeral was held, and representatives from over 90 countries attended. The president was then laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia.